Hey guys, thank you for joining me today on Instinctive Addiction Archery. I'm Jeff Phillips. I'm so glad you could be with me today for this video. Okay, you say, well, what in the world are you up to today? Well, all right. So what's happened, guys, is I've kind of been pulling my hair out trying to figure out what I can do to make the really lightweight bow work. Okay, because there's so many guys that cannot pull really more than 40 pounds. Okay, they're having to hunt with real lightweight bows to be able to go at all. Okay, it's either that or nothing. Okay, so I set out to figure out, okay, what have I got to do to make a hunting arrow that will work? Okay. All right, so I came in and I got one of my 3D bows, which is a 37-pound longbow. It's 37 pounds. That's exactly what I draw on it, okay? It's a 38 at 28. I draw the bow 37 pounds. It's an ultra smooth 60-inch three-piece takedown longbow. Okay, so it's a great bow to use for this test. Now, the arrows that I initially we're shooting out of this for 3D, which shot really flat, really great, just wonderful tournament arrows, okay? They really are. And I actually tested a bow very similar to it with these arrows with a 200 grain tip on it, and it shot amazingly well. Okay, so it proved to me that, all right, I can bump up even a 700. Now this is a 700 spine. These are the 3D arrows that I had set up for the bow. I built these Warriors just to shoot 3D with a light poundage bow. Okay. Well, I tested it with stock nocks and a 200 grain head, and it actually shot incredibly well. Okay. But still nowhere in the ballpark of where it needed to be on total arrow weight. Okay. Just not enough. This arrow right now, my 3D arrow, running 150 grain tips on it on this 700. I'm gonna weigh it right quick, guys, to confirm, but it's light. Okay, it's very light. Wow, 342 grains. That's all it is. 342 grains. Definitely nowhere near enough weight to hunt. So I got to thinking, what can I do to build a hunting arrow for a 37-pound bow that I can hopefully get to the 500 grain mark, at least maybe crack that 500 grain mark, and then see how they actually shoot out of the bow. And that's what we're going to do. All right, right now, fresh start. I haven't built this arrow yet. But what I did was I dug in the collection. I've got hundreds of different arrows, and I pulled out a 600. Same arrow, same length, 28-inch shaft, just like these, but they're a 600 spine instead of a 700, okay? So the 600s, they're 5.7 grains per inch. So they're a little bit heavier, but still a very light shaft. I mean, that's light, guys. All right, so dealing with under 6 grains per inch, how can I get there? How much weight can I put on here? Because I've already got these wrapped. There's black wraps. I'm gonna add a luminoc, and I'm gonna load the front of this up. I'm taking the stock knock out of this thing, and I'm gonna throw a 100 grain brass insert in it. And I'm going to start with a 175 grain tip because I've got 175 grain sharks that I would like to shoot out of this thing. And that's what I'm going to load up and build and do, guys, and see what happens. First thing we're going to do is pull all this stuff out and see what kind of arrow weight we can actually come up with. Okay, let's do it. All right, guys, let's glue up a 100 grain brass insert with a 175 grain tip. See what kind of weight we can get out of this thing now. I bet we'll be there. I just bet you. that cool for just a second. While that's doing that, I'm going to take the stock knock off. I'm going to put a luminoc on this thing. And that'll give us some weight. Voila. Okay. Weigh it up right quick now. Let's see where we're at. We were at 342 grains on a 3D arrow. I went up a spine from a 700 to a 600, put a luminoc, 100 grain brass, 175 grain tip instead of 150. See if we can get there. 493. 493 grains. Okay. Now, if it would shoot a 200 grain head, great. We definitely would be there. We'd be over the 500 mark. All right, so let's go outside and shoot this thing, guys. Let's just see what this 493 grain arrow shoots like out of this 37-pound longbow. Let's do it. All right, guys, let's do this. See how it shoots. I'm curious, very curious. See if a man can actually hunt with a 37-pound bow. We're gonna try this thing a lot of different ways. Oh yeah, flew very good. Dead on. I mean, really good. All right, guys, so, you know, after the last video that we did on the arrow penetration, the all-out penetration test, so many people asked me about a really light pound bow. Have I tried shooting a light pound bow to see if I could get any penetration? Well, no, I didn't, because honestly, I didn't know if I could build a 500 grain arrow that would actually shoot good out of one of these bows. And without it having that kind of weight, I felt like it was impossible to shoot through 1/2-inch plywood. Okay, I really did. Okay, well, now that I've got one, I want to try it. I really do. If it bounces out, if it fails, because I shot a 350 grain arrow out of a 43-pound bow in that video, and it just bounced out of it, no penetration at all. And this board's been shot a couple of times, but it's 1/2-inch plywood, and all I gotta do is shoot can't hit the same hole, but if it hits anywhere in that plywood, if it penetrates that, even right here, then I'm gonna know that we've got some good force going on with this. Let's see, guys. I don't know. Let's try it. Wow. All I can say is, wow. Yes. Yes, we did. Oh my gosh. Check it out. Look at that crap. Look at that. Oh, it did. It's 1/2-inch with 1/4-inch on top. It's actually 3/4. I mean, it really is. Of course, it's been shot a time or two, but man, oh my gosh. All right, so, all right, I'm gonna break out the long shot. I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna go back about 25 yards. Actually, I'm gonna set this thing out where I can shoot at 25 yards, and I'm gonna see if this thing will actually penetrate this thing at like 25 yards. This is crazy, man. Crazy. I've never in my life seen anything like it. A bow that light. Never have I seen a bow that light shoot through any kind of plywood. That's heavy FOC. That's what it does. Okay, guys, here it goes. Here it goes. We got a pass through. We got one. 25 yards. That arrow just went through that target. And you got to watch this other video, the arrow penetration video, and you will see arrows under 500 grains with a 43-pound bow not getting through this target, hitting this just like this, and not even getting past the field tips. Okay, not happening. But when we passed 500 grains, they started passing through. Anything over 500 grains, we were getting through. 37-pound bow, 500 grain arrow. We just shot through that plywood right there at 25 yards. Let's check it out. Man, is that exciting. I love this stuff, guys, especially when it comes together and you figure it out. Oh yeah. It's the same penetration, man. Look at that. Same penetration as what we got up close. Didn't lose a bit. That's because of that 275 on the front of that thing. You pack 275 on front of an arrow like that, and it is going to do it. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Totally awesome, man. I'm ecstatic, man. I'm ecstatic. That's what I'm talking about, guys, right there. That's what I am talking about. It can be done. Let's shoot this thing through the graph one time. I want to get an idea of what kind of speed it's getting. I don't expect it to be a lot, but we'll see what it is. And then I'm going to shoot a broadhead. I'm going to bet you it flies that head great. I bet it does. Let's just see. See what this thing's doing here. .136. Not bad for that light of weight and that heavy of an arrow. I mean, really, it's not. Duplicate 136. Okay, so we know we're dealing with 136 feet per second with basically a 500 grain arrow that shoots really well. Okay, pulling 37 pounds. I mean, you can't really expect more than that out of a bow that light, but I believe it's going to be a killer. I do. And the object of this video, guys, is I'm trying to help all of you that might not be able to shoot any more weight than that. That are dealing with these, 35-pound to 38, maybe even up to a 40-pound bow. You've got to have some arrow weight because you obviously don't have a lot of speed. So shooting a featherlight arrow is out of the question. You're not going to get penetration if you do that. So in my opinion, you're going to have to build an arrow something like this. And I think the trick to this, and still getting even decent speed is a fairly light shaft with really good FOC. I mean, we're talking 275 grains on the front of this arrow. All right, it's spinning true. Should fly this head good. And that's what really matters. I want to see if this lightweight bow with right at a 500 grain arrow will fly this big head. I'm curious. Let's see what it does, guys. Let's see. Dead on. Dead in there in the exact same spot the other one was. And it flew really, really good. So we're dealing with 136 feet a second. 500 grain arrow, 37-pound bow. They definitely fly good, and probably all of the penetration you're ever going to get out of one of these kind of bows. You would probably even be a little bit better off to shoot something like a 3-to-1 design single bevel head. You know, if you shoot something like a single bevel, or maybe even a double bevel like a Magnus or something like that, a Stinger, you'd probably be good. You really would. And guys, I know it's not an easy formula to figure out. I understand that when you're dealing with really light pound bows, you're in a different world than the guys in the 43, 44, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 50 pound bows, whatever. When you're in that lightweight category, you got to think about it. You do. You have to think, I'm not having a whole lot of energy out of a bow. So what can I do to get penetration, and how far do I have to limit my shots? Well, this right here is about 17, 18 yards, okay? And 136 feet per second, of course, a good quiet shot helps, but obviously it would not have been any problem to have killed a deer with that at all. And I can already tell this arrow got really good penetration, really good, in that 3D target with a broadhead. So it's definitely getting good penetration, it is. So I'm gonna go pull this one right quick, and we'll shoot a little further. I'll shoot all the way out here at 25 yards, see what it does. Not bad at all, guys. That's how much that it went in that 3D wolf target there with the broadhead. Broadhead was pretty sharp. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a fairly sharp head. All right, let's shoot this thing. I'm gonna shoot at the bear. Like I said, this is at least 25 yards. And let's just see how this arrow tanks, if it does at all, me just naturally looking and shooting like I always do. Like I would if I had the 342 grain 3D arrows in this bow. Same thing. Wow. No drop. No, I actually shot just a hair high. I shot just a little high. Man, that arrow flew amazingly good. Amazingly good. Let me go grab it and do that again. I was quite impressed. And I still got that much penetration in another 3D target with this broadhead. It's pretty impressive, guys. I mean, it is. That's kind of exciting. I mean, honestly, I doubted that it would shoot a 500 grain arrow. I figured it would just, be like a log in this thing. I really did, but I'm quite amazed, guys. I really am. This Warrior's a really good build. Really good. I mean, yes, you could hunt with this bow. Absolutely. Dead. I mean, dead in there, man. Golly. Man, did that thing fly good. Like a laser. There it is. There it is, guys. Success. It tickles me. when I ponder on things and I think about them, and I scratch my head and go, what can I do to try to help the guys that it might be trying to figure out what they can do with a really lightweight setup like this, And ever since I did the arrow test and the other videos and all that, I was like, I've got to be able to get to that 500 grain mark. And I mean, we're literally 6 or 7 grains shy of 500 grains, which is plenty. I mean, plenty. Like I said, it's a 175 grain broadhead, 175 grain field tip, 100 grain brass insert in a 600 gold tip warrior that's 5.7 grains per inch, cut 28-inch carbon to carbon, with wraps, with Aluminok. We're right at the 500 mark out of a 37-pound bow. And it is absolutely dead on right there in that 25 yards, man. And getting good penetration. I'm gonna try to zoom in for you a little bit and show you, but I couldn't ask for more. I could not ask for more. I'll take it, guys. I'll take it. Hopefully this has helped you. Hopefully this has helped you a little bit, at least, to figure out what arrow build you need if you're under 40 pounds, okay? That's all it takes, guys. Build you up a 600, and you probably could even go heavier. But as you can see, I'm not giving up hardly any in my distance. I mean, really, it's shooting great. I don't have to limit to some 10 and 12, 15 yard shots. I don't have to. However, I would not encourage shooting over that at a deer. I'd say inside of 20 for sure. I would, just for penetration. But with a short broadhead and that heavy of an arrow, it's gonna penetrate. It is going to kill a deer. There's no two ways about that. So guys, thank you for joining me today on Instinctive Addiction Archery. I'm Jeff Phillips. I love you, and I just praise God for everything and how he's blessed the channel, how he's grown it. There's just, man, it's just so cool. I love it. I love this stuff. So if you haven't subscribed, hit the button, hit the subscription button, and like it if you will. Every little bit helps, but guys, there's no money in YouTube. It's not about money. You do this because you love doing it, and that's what I love, okay? This is not what I make my living doing, making videos by far, and probably never will, but who knows? But anyway, guys, it's about doing what you love doing, okay? And when I start getting way up in the thousands in subscribers, it just gets me excited, because I know that there's that many people out there that are hungry for the information on how to set their rigs up and what they can do to better their setup. And that's what I have devoted myself to doing. I mean, I have just all out devoted 100% to, Lord willing, being able to give solid advice, solid instruction, how to shoot these bows and be accurate, and what it takes to kill animals, guys, because nobody likes to fail. If you fail when you go out and do this, if you shoot too light of an arrow, the wrong setup, you're right off the bat, you're out. You're gonna get discouraged, you're gonna quit, you're gonna go get a different direction. Well, if your heart tells you you wanna shoot traditional, you wanna go back to the old way of things like our forefathers did it, and you love traditional simplicity and the beauty of all that, the serenity of sitting in the woods with a beautiful traditional bow and feathered arrows and a big old broadhead, and you're dreaming about that kill shot, make it a reality, guys. Make it your reality. But you got to do it right. You got to get the arrow weight up that's gonna penetrate and get that deer down that you can bring it home. Thank you guys for joining me on Instinctive Addiction Archery. I love you. Goodbye.